sure to check out Agelessgeeks for your figures and collectibles. So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Bandai Tamashii Nation's SH Figuarts Avengers Infinity War Nebula. So let's get into it right away and take a quick look at the box. So we do get the basic type of box when it comes to the SH Figuarts MCU line. So we do get the window right there on the front of the box, and on the window in gold does say SH Figuarts Nebula, and I do believe that is the Guardians of the Galaxy symbol. On the bottom we do get an image of the figure, says Marvel Avengers Infinity War. We do get the Tamashii Nation's quality sticker, Tamashii Nation's and Bandai. And then here's the bottom of the box with the blah 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 symbol we care about. And then we do get a very tiny image of the Nebula figure. Here is the top of the box. And then on one side with another miniature image of the Nebula figure. Here is the other side of the box, and the back does have a few poses you can get the figure into along with some of the accessories. But anyway, that's the packaging. Let's get this figure over to take a closer look at this very stubborn character who constantly kept trying to murder her own stepsister. Alrighty, taking a closer detailed look, and Tamashii Nations did a beautiful job with this figure. There is no shading on her suit at all, but I mean, they put a wash on her metal arm and stuff, so they at least did that. But the head sculpts, I think, look just like the actress who played Nebula. They captured her likeness perfectly on the head sculpts there. Really nice job by Tamashii Nations. And the head sculpt, definitely my favorite part about the figure. I love the metal piece on the left side and on the top of the head. That turned out great. Very clean paintwork all throughout that, and the sculpt detail just looks fantastic. And clean paintwork in between the purple and the blue right there as well. And we get the sculpted lines also on the side of her face going along the back of her head. Very nice job on the head sculpt, man. Even on the neck as well, they did a great job with the paintwork. And then the torso here, they did a really nice job. Once again, her suit has like a cool like sculpted texture to it, and I love all the straps and buckles and everything. Really cool looking. Very clean paintwork, once again, where the brown meets the black and the maroon and everything. And the back there, nice sculpt and paint detail. Once again, that piece looks cool. Kind of looks like a bunch of veins all over on that piece, the way they sculpted it. Get some sculpted wrinkles up at the top as well, even on the lower back, so that definitely looks dope. Then we do get her regular arm here, which has some beautiful sculpt and paint detail all throughout it. Really crisp, clean paintwork, man. I like this gauntlet piece around her right arm there. That looks pretty cool. And then we do get her mechanical or cybernetic arm, which looks sick, man. They added a very subtle wash in it, and it just turned out really nice. Elbow joint doesn't look too bad, but really like all the sculpted lines all throughout the arm. I think that looks dope. Very cool mechanical arm there. Then we do get her belt here, which looks alright. It's very plain looking with no paintwork on it. And then we do get the holster for her gun, which is on like a softer rubbery type plastic. Then the legs here turned out really nice too. Very clean paintwork. Once again, I like the sculpted texture to her suit on the brown part. We just got like sculpted lines on the maroon part there. And I like all these straps and buckles on the right leg. That looks so dope, man. Really clean paintwork all throughout the legs. Knee joints look pretty good, and the lower legs turned out really nice too. The boots look dope. Really cool looking. Get some sculpted wrinkles on them and stuff, so really nice. And then the feet turned out pretty good too. And then the bottom of them, not too much going on. And you would think since she's wearing kind of like heels, she would be difficult to stand. She is not difficult to stand at all. She stands perfectly fine. So if you were worried about that, don't be, because she stands fine, as you can see there. But overall, I think Tamashii Nations absolutely destroyed it when it comes to the detail on this Nebula. But anyway, let's continue on. Moving on to the accessories, Nebula is included with a decent amount of stuff, but what I find really disappointing is we don't get any angry type of facial expressions. What the hell is that all about? Nebula, 99% of the time, is always angry. Even in Endgame, she had the either like yelling, screaming facial expression or an angry teeth gritted one. So I feel like they at least could have given us one type of angry facial expression, you know what I mean? So I found that a bit disappointing with this figure. But what we do get the two interchangeable head sculpts. And starting on the left there, we do get the basic stern face while she's looking straight ahead, and that's the one that does come on the figure out of the packaging. And they did a beautiful job with that head sculpt, and they also did a beautiful job with the head sculpt on the right, which is also a basic stern looking face, but this time she's looking off to the left right there, and they did a fantastic job with the paint and sculpt detail on both head sculpts. And like I said, I wish they gave us some sort of angry head sculpt or facial expression with Nebula as well, but they are very simple to swap out. I'll show you how to do that right now quickly. And like I said, swapping the head sculpts is very simple, and it's a little bit of a different style compared to what we're usually seeing, and I could have sworn we've seen this on a previous SH Figuarts, but when you pop the head off, I think Spider-Man has this. You see how we have this piece over the ball joint right there? It makes it so much easier and safer to swap the head sculpt. So you just pull up to take the head off and then just push down. This piece, of course, goes in the front right there because you have to line that up properly. And the way you get that on, you just push down, make sure it's all the way on, and then there you go. It's that simple and risk-free of breaks or anything like that when you swap the head sculpts right there. So very easy to do that. So we do get the two interchangeable head sculpts. And then we also get her baton, and we do get a blaster. And I wish they gave us two batons, even though I know she probably didn't use two of them in Endgame, but I know she did in other movies, so it would have been cool to get them, but I bet they'll make the other version of her where she does use the dual baton, so I'll probably see that sometime in the future. But the baton turned out pretty nice. I mean, it looks like it's painted in silver right there, and I do like the sculpt detail around the handle. I think that looks pretty cool. So, I mean, that turned out really nice, and she does grip onto it perfectly with her gripping hands, so we do get that. Then we do get her gun or blaster here, and this thing turned out pretty damn dope. I like that gunmetal gray that they chose for the main part of the gun, and then the top we have a little bit of silver right there. We get some very nice sculpt detail all throughout that as well, and she does grip onto this perfectly fine with her trigger finger hands, and you can holster it on her holster, which is on her right hip, and it fits in there perfectly. It's not going to fall out or anything like that, and I found it the easiest way to get it out is push from the bottom, and it pops right out. So we do get her weapons there, and then we finally get 8 alternate hands. And starting on the top right here, we do get a pair of fists, of course, which do come on the figure out of the packaging. Then we do get a pair of gripping hands where the thumb is molded together to the fingers, and these are meant for her baton. And then we do get a pair of trigger finger hands, and of course these are meant for her gun or her blaster. And then finally we do get a pair of open type hands, and we get some excellent sculpt and paint detail throughout all 8 hands, and they are very simple to swap out as well. Even though the wrist joints are pretty small, I don't feel like anything's going to break because Tamashii Nations does have that very high good quality when it comes to their figures, and that's always a good thing because you don't want to break wrist joints on your figures. But anyway, that is all the accessories included with Nebula. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review, shall we? Now for the height of Nebula to the very top of her bald head, it looks like she's just shy of 6 inches tall. And then here she is compared to the SH Figuarts Infinity War Thanos, the Infinity War Black Widow, the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 Star-Lord, the Infinity War Rocket Raccoon, and the Marvel Legends Evolution of Groot, and little baby Groot there. And I think her scaling seems to be okay. She's almost as tall as Peter Quill, but she also does have heels on, so the scaling could be accurate or it might be a little bit off. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then here she is compared to the SH Figuarts Endgame Captain America, the Mark 7 Iron Man, the Justice League Wonder Woman, and the Mafex Iron Spider Spider-Man. And then here she is compared to the Storm Collectible Smoke, the SH Figuarts Sage Mode Naruto, the Mafex Justice League Batman, and the Figma Black Swordsman Guts. And then here she is compared to the SH Figuarts Awakened Warrior Super Saiyan Goku, and the Mezco 112 Deadpool. Anyway, there's some quick comparisons. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. So now for the articulation, and Tamashii Nations worked in the movement pretty damn good with Nebula here. So we do have 2 joints at the neck, the upper neck joint. You can only get her to look up about that much, as you can see there. It does look down decently. Do get really nice pivot at the upper neck there. Pretty damn good pivot actually. It does swell as well. The lower neck here goes forward about that much, so you can get her to pretty much look directly down, which is awesome, and she doesn't look up any further than that. You do get a little bit of pivot at the lower neck, and then it does swivel as well, so pretty good movement at both the neck joints there. Then we do get a point of articulation at the torso and at the waist, and the torso goes back about that much, which is pretty good. Goes forward just a tiny bit. Really not too much pivot, as you can see right there. Does swivel though, and the joint is very tight. The waist goes back that much, so with both joints she goes back a lot, and both joints she doesn't really go forward too much, so that's a bit disappointing. Really not too much pivot at the waist either, so we do get swivel there as well, so not the best forward movement at the waist and torso, and not the best pivot either. We do have a butterfly joint at the arms, so you can bring your arms, well, you can crisscross them really well actually. Very nice butterfly joint there, geez. And we do have a very nice shoulder joint as well, so you can move the arm in a very nice circular motion, and they do go out to the sides about 90 degrees. They do go up and down, and that joint's very tight as well. We do not have true bicep swivel, which is a bit disappointing, so you will have to use it at the shoulder. I believe you could use it at the single jointed elbow as well, and it does bend in a little more than 90 degrees, so that's definitely good. And yes, it does swivel where the joint connects into the bicep, and doesn't really swivel where it connects into the forearm. Then we do have a ball hinge on the wrist, so it does swivel and hinges back and forth. Now for the legs here, we get some very nice leg joints with Nebula. They do drop down a lot, so you can get her to kick forward a lot more than 90 degrees, so that's definitely dope. Goes to the back almost 90 degrees. Let's see if she can. Jean-Claude Van Damme it, and she should be able to. Yes, she definitely can, so excellent leg articulation with Nebula here. Then we do get that great hip joint that I love that they put on their Iron Man figures, which is pretty much a ball peg, it looks like. As you can see, it move all around. It does swivel, moves forward and back, and pivots. I love those hip joints that Tamashii Nations uses on their Marvel figures. And we do have a double jointed knee that does bend back all the way. Then the ankles here, they do swivel. They hinge up really well, hinge down really well, and then we get a beautiful, almost 90-degree bend ankle pivot there. Then we do have a little bit of a toe hinge. So overall, Nebula's articulation is pretty damn good for the most part. There are a couple points that aren't as good, but most of her points of articulation are fantastic, and you're going to be able to get her into pretty much any type of I hate my sister like poses, but now I love her now. And I'm about to show you some of them right about now. But anyway, that is my review of the SH Figuarts Infinity War Nebula. Hope you enjoyed it. If I had to rate this figure with detail, I'd give her an 8.5. Articulation, I'd give her an even 9. Accessories, I'd give an even 8. And then the overall quality, I would give a perfect 10. If you would like to know the price and where to buy this figure, I did get mine from Agelessgeeks, so you can check over at their website at agelessgeeks.com. If you can't find something on there, I do highly recommend going through their Instagram or Facebook page. I will put more information in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. And if you liked it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, oh well, I guess you didn't like it. But thanks for watching. I will see you later. On the window in gold, does the SH Figuarts and Nebula, and I do believe that's the Chapadichu with the blah 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 stuff nobody cares about, and a miniature image of the figure right there. The SH Figuarts and Game Captain America, the Mark 7 Iron Man, the Chihuahua, the SH Figuarts, didn't know if I should say Endgame or Infinity War, the Infinity War Black Widow, Star-Lordian, the Infinity War Rocket Raccoon, and the evolutions of, I forgot to say Marvel Legends, damn it. The Infinity War Rocket Raccoon and the Marvel Legends evolution, blah, 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 blah.